2 days after the joint strike by the United States and Israel that reportedly neutralized Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, along with several senior commanders of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Washington moved swiftly, not only in the diplomatic arena, but also in strengthening its military posture across the region. The strike, viewed as a severe blow to Tehran's command structure, triggered concern among both allies and adversaries in the Middle East. To prevent further escalation and reaffirm its commitment to regional stability, the Pentagon deployed several Boeing C-17 Globemaster III heavy transport aircraft from bases in California to key strategic locations throughout the Middle East. The deployment was not merely symbolic. Inside those massive aircraft were M142 HIMARS high-precision rocket artillery systems, hundreds of military personnel, ammunition, and supporting combat equipment. HIMARS, known for its accuracy, mobility, and rapid deployment capability in combat zones, is widely regarded as an effective deterrent against potential retaliatory attacks. In addition, logistical units, armored vehicles, and technical support teams were dispatched to reinforce U.S. bases spread across the Persian Gulf and the Arabian Peninsula. This move underscores Washington's long-standing commitment to regional stability in an area plagued by protracted conflict, ideological rivalry, and the activities of armed non-state actors. Although the strike reportedly eliminated what U.S. officials described as an immediate threat from Tehran, American defense planners recognize that the risk of escalation remains significant, particularly given domestic political pressures within Iran from competing factions. Therefore, the deployment of advanced military assets is framed as both defensive and deterrent in nature, aimed at protecting U.S. bases and strategic assets from potential retaliation. According to the 2026 Global Firepower Rankings, the United States remains the world's leading military power. The presence of assets such as HIMARS, supported by the rapid global mobility of the C-17 Globemaster III, highlights America's unmatched power projection capabilities. In the large-scale campaign reportedly codenamed Operation Epic Fury, U.S. forces were said to have targeted more than 1,000 Iranian military sites, including missile facilities, air defense electronic installations, and naval bases considered threats to freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz and surrounding Gulf waters. With the reported death of Khamenei, long seen as the architect of Tehran's assertive regional policies, some analysts suggest that new possibilities may emerge for Iran's domestic political landscape. They argue that moderate elements within the country could gain greater influence in shaping Iran's future without the dominance of a theocratic leadership that has ruled for over 4 decades. However, observers caution that any meaningful reform would likely face significant internal resistance and structural challenges. Geopolitically, the U.S. response has reportedly received support from several Gulf states. Qatar, for example, defended its sovereignty by intercepting and shooting down Iranian drones that allegedly attempted to target its territory hours after the primary incident. This development reinforced the perception among certain Arab governments that Iran represents a tangible threat, while the United States remains a credible security partner. Countries such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain have publicly expressed support for stabilization efforts led by the international coalition and reaffirmed their commitment to multilateral security cooperation. In recent diplomatic forums, senior U.S. officials have emphasized that Washington is not seeking a broader war, but rather aiming to establish a new security architecture in the Middle East, one free from coercion and intimidation. They maintain that the United States remains committed to a safer and more prosperous regional future, where dialogue and cooperation replace violence and extremism, and where sovereignty and human rights serve as the foundation of sustainable international relations.